outlier, but there are many other Asian countries which feel like outliers themselves, especially in the Quad dialogue, I guess. So I'm wondering about your thought. And the third question is about Global South. Sorry. Well, I think India's role as the leader in Global South, making the Global South community, their solidarity is very important, especially in terms of economic role. When we look at the South Asian neighbors like Sri Lanka announced economic default in 2022. And I'm wondering whether India is thinking the role in the South Asian community or maybe further in Asia as the leading economy, like as the fifth largest economy. Thank you.
Okay, many questions, yes. But your first question, does India value its ties, its relationship with other Asian countries? Just so that you know, I'm coming to Tokyo from Seoul. I was in South Korea for 2 days before I came here. We also have a very, very deep relationship with the ASEAN. In fact, for us, we associate that with what we call the reform period in India, when we opened up our economy and did many more things. And we did that by dealing much more with other countries, other economies in Asia, ASEAN, South Korea, Japan. So the short answer is yes. For us, many other partners in Asia are very important, and we certainly want to take those relationships forward as well. In fact, I gave a speech, by the way, in Korea about the importance of India-Korea relations. It's on the YouTube, so please take a look at it. The second, you spoke about outliers, and your question, can Quad include other countries? First of all, if you add another country to a Quad, it won't be called the Quad anymore. But the answer really is, the four of us have, in some ways we are very dissimilar, but there are many things which bring us together. We are all, four of us currently in the Quad, very strong maritime powers. If you see in the Indo-Pacific, we are located at four corners, almost you can say, of the Indo-Pacific. My own point, why did the Quad work in 2017, was in each case our bilateral relationship had grown very substantially. So in each case, for example, we have today 2+2 defense and foreign affairs interaction as well. So it's not something which you take a decision lightly. There were very good reasons why the four happened to be the four in question. On the issue of Global South, Sri Lanka is a very pertinent example, and I thank you for mentioning it. When Sri Lanka got into economic difficulties, in a way it comes to the first issue we were discussing, that yes, there is a very, this conflict, there's this tragic conflict taking place in Ukraine. But if you look at the consequences of it for the Global South, everywhere in the Global South, energy costs went up, food costs went up, fertilizer costs went up, inflation went up. And a country like Sri Lanka just had everything came together and they had this huge economic crisis. Now, during this period, if you look to see which countries stepped forward to help Sri Lanka, we in India actually put together a package within a matter of a few weeks, in fact a few months, which was $4.5 billion to Sri Lanka in grants and loans. Now, just so that you understand, the IMF package, which took much longer, was less than $3 billion. So our direct bilateral support we gave to Sri Lanka was actually 50% larger than what the IMF gave. And more important, was given in time. It was given at a time when Sri Lanka was really struggling. So we do recognize today, that as a big economy, we have more responsibilities. But I also would like the world to recognize that we may be a big economy, but we are still an economy whose per capita income is below $3,000. So when we give something to the world, it is done with a great deal of sacrifice and really a great effort on the part of people of India. I mean, the sense of international obligation is very strong, as I said during vaccination, that while we had not completed our vaccination, yet we gave vaccines. So we take our global south responsibility very, very seriously.
And apologies, so if you can just keep your question to one per person. So this person at the far back, please.
So my name is Kaustubh and I am a student in Japan. I'm a master's student in Nagoya. And everyone's been like throwing the word around Global South. And one thing common between all the countries in the Global South is we all want to, shift to the Global North. Like all of our educated individuals, all of the qualified individuals want to move to the Global North. So do you think there will be a time one day like when Indians will not want to move out, not want to have to move out and would love to like stay back in India and as India is a developing economy, it's rapidly developing, but the numbers are rising who want to like move abroad, who want to go work abroad. So do you think there will be a time in the future where, these numbers will reduce?
I'm just curious, how long have you been studying in Japan?
1.5 years.
1.5 years. Look, my sense is that there's already a big change happening, because at the end of the day, if I had an opportunity at home versus having an opportunity abroad, why would I move out of my own environment if I had that opportunity? So I look at the problem somewhat differently than you do. I mean, to me, it is a question of creating growth and opportunity in India. To the extent that growth rates are faster, but also it's not just a growth rate. Along with that, if employment opportunities are more, if there is a startup culture, not everybody today wants a salaried job, not everybody wants to join the government. There are people, much of the attraction of people who go out sometimes is that they do their own thing. Now, if you can create a situation in India where that is possible, I think the youth of India would have a much more optimistic view of their own prospects in India. And that is one of the changes which is happening today. I mean, if you look today at the number of startups, I mean, we have today I think just in numbers terms, the third largest startups in the world. You look at the number of unicorns which have come up in this period, because they are inspirational examples for every other startup, because somebody doing a startup hears of a unicorn, they feel, okay, I can also be like that. I would also say, when you see the expansion of the economy in many more areas, I give you a very, very contemporary example. We had one very small fab in India in Chandigarh. That was the only facility of the kind which existed after 80 years. On the semiconductor side, we were importing everything. And yet, everybody will tell you this is the industry of the future. This is where the jobs will grow. We've had companies from abroad actually employ people in India. So they are design engineers working for foreign semiconductor companies located in India. Now, once we have taken the decision that no, we will also enter this field, we will also set up foundries, we will also create the displays and the ATMPs for operations, you will see that anybody who has an interest in that field will now think, yes, I have an opportunity in India. So a big part of the challenge which you have flagged is about doing well in India, and to do that, frankly, we need today a leadership which has that kind of vision, which has that ability to do it on the ground, because sometimes people talk, but to promise something and in 2 or 3 or 5 years to actually see the factory out there. Last year Prime Minister went to the US. One of the agreements which we sort of concluded was with this company called Micron. Now already the Micron, we are now talking 6 months, 7 months. The Micron factory is coming up as we speak. So I think there is that big change in India which also you need to recognize, and I'm sure it will be very good for people of your generation.
はい、続いていかがでしょうか。
So any other question? So on the left-hand side, the fourth row from the front.
はい。
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank the Nikkei Forum for this opportunity. And sir, it's an honor to hear you in person. My name is Devin, and my question is somewhat relates to the answer that you were discussing about the question related to why Bharat matters, and also a couple of points related to the last question. As a part of the Indian diaspora, there are these tiny things that really matter when we go back to India, be it on a holiday, be it on a longer sort of, couple of weeks, 4 weeks. So when we see things changing in India, and as you rightly pointed out, I think the leadership has it in it right now, to make these changes. And we have, I think, seen these changes happening in the last 10 years, especially. So when you interact with the diaspora, not just in Japan, but globally, are there any points that you consider